Hi, my name is Jerry Wilson and I'm a teaching golf professional in East Tennessee. Two questions that I get asked more than any as a teaching golf professional are, one, how do I get more distance? And the other question is, what is the best club to chip with? Well, the answer to the first question is a lot harder because there are so many variables in people's stature, and they can be tall, they can be short, they can be gravity challenged, they could be thin as a rail. So there are a lot of things to take in consideration. But the second question is, what is the best club to chip with, is much, much easier. As you will see here, the best club to chip with that I recommend is any club in your bag. And the reason I say that is, once again, everybody's different, everybody has a different feel. And when you're chipping, and you're chipping in an area like we have right here, you can use everything from an 8-iron to a putter. Now, a classic example of this is I was working with a 12-year-old rather. His name is Will, and I was trying to get him to use an 8-iron to chip with. He says, well, Jerry, he says, I really like my sand wedge. I said, okay, let's have a contest. Well, I'm embarrassed to tell you that he hit his sand wedge a little bit closer than I did my 8-iron about half of the time. But that just proves the point. You need to choose what you're most comfortable with. Now, the recommendations are, in this shot right here where I'm not very far from the hole and there's not very much grass, you could use an 8-iron, or I would recommend an 8-iron, simply because it puts a little bit of spin on the ball and it makes the ball roll to the hole. Now, the rule of thumb is a ball on the ground will go in the hole and a ball in the air will not. So if you look, the basic stance when you set up to chip should always be the same no matter what club. You want your body slightly open, your hips and your shoulders slightly open, so you can take the club straight down the line and there's no interference. There's a method I use called get out of the way so the club can do its work. So basically you set up like I've got this 8-iron. I've got my hips and my shoulders out of the way, and I'm going to take this 8-iron and play it just a little off the toe so it's soft. Then I chip it toward the hole. Well, I chipped it in. So I love doing that because people go, well, I can't believe you did first take. Well, that does happen, and the more you practice, the better, and the more often it will happen. Now, the next thing you can use is a hybrid. And I see a lot of people do this, especially, I'm going to back up here a little bit, if you're in taller grass like this. And you can take your hybrid because it doesn't catch the ground as much as an iron would, and it gives you the feeling of doing a really good putt. So, here we go. I'm going to use my hybrid and try to recreate the same shot. But once again, if you'll notice, my shoulders, my hips are out of the way so the club can go straight down the line and roll down the path to hit the flag or be close to the hole. But you need to practice this a little bit. And there you go. Now, I would take that every time. Also, what my wife likes to use and what I like to use when I'm in this position is the putter. It's called the Texas wedge. So you take your putter, and once again, look, my shoulders, my hips, and everything are slightly out of the way so the putter can go straight down the line. And I set up, I make my stroke, and you roll it close to the hole. Now, that being said, let's back up a little bit, and I'm going to come over here to some deeper grass. Now, I'm going to use my sand wedge in this simply because more grass that you have on the ball, if I'm back in here where it's deeper, then what I want to do is use something that will get over the part that's going to be causing the trouble, which is the long grass and the short grass, and let the ball hit the ground again. And as soon as it hits the ground, it will roll, and that's what you want. Once again, the ball on the ground will go in the hole, a ball in the air will not. Now, with my sand wedge, I'm going to play the ball off the toe so it's soft when it hits the ground, and follow through so it rolls to the hole. But once again, my shoulders are open, my hips are open. So here we go. And this is where the 12-year-old he beat me like a drum. So I've been practicing this so we can have another contest. Okay, here we go. Take the sand wedge, play it off the toe so I can get it over the bad part here, and roll it up to the hole. Well, that didn't quite work out. Let's try that one more time. See, ladies and gentlemen, we all make mistakes. And if you ever watch a pro during a tour or a round, they're all going to make mistakes, and that's what makes us human. So that's why we have to practice as well as you do. Let's try that again. I just didn't follow through. And there we go. And that's why you practice. Trust me when I say there is no perfect club to chip with. You need to take the club that works for you, whether it be a putter, a hybrid, an 8-iron, sandwich, whatever you're more comfortable with. But look at your surroundings. If you have a lot of green to play with, use a less lofted club. It will get to the ground quicker. So take these tips. I hope they work really good for you. Here's a drill I like to teach people if they don't have time to play a lot of golf, or if it's winter time and you need to practice inside. And that's the little half swing stinger shot. And you can take the club back to about halfway back, drive it through, focusing on making everything work together and your head staying in position. Now, I don't recommend you do this in the house with a golf ball because I don't want you to be responsible for any of the breakage. Wives get very upset about that, and so do husbands. So you take the club back, get a good set, halfway back, drive it through, and as you can see, as you keep your head perfectly still, you'll find yourself hitting the ball really solid, really straight, and a lot further than you think you would. So try this at home. It's a great drill to work inside in the office or somewhere, but please, don't use a golf ball. It's not worth it.